My name is Fred King. I'm a medical librarian at MedStar Washington Hospital Center in Washington, D.C. And I am known on 6 continents as the traveling companion to the avenging chicken, who does not show up very well today. See, Bywater and Equinox and all the others are really great, wonderful people, but some libraries can't afford their services. And if you have a really small library with a few interesting things in it, you may not be able to afford to install koha with their help. So the presentations and videos, etc., that I've done are for people who have a computer, have a knack for working with computers, and a lot of time. Earlier this year, I put out a video on installing koha from the command line. Part 2, where I take that basic setup and then configure it, is not quite ready. The filming, the screenshots and other things take about 90% of the time, and then putting the voiceover and the music and the editing take about the other 90% of the time. For this instance, I created a library called the Cheerful Valley Public Library. You can see it at cheerfulvalleypl.online. Never mind where it's located, somewhere in Maryland. The email addresses for it don't work yet, but they will. It looks really rough. It looks like it was built in the basement by some guy and a stuffed chicken. But on the other hand, it took me maybe an hour and a half from command line to finished product. But that's not what I'm going to talk about today. Today I have 3 other things that either I find annoying and it clears up the annoyance, or, well, you'll see. Okay, now I'm going to share my screen. And share sound. Should be sharing Windows Media Player. Can you see it? Looks like the stream is just catching up with me, so yes. This is, oh, you'll see. This isn't a koha problem exactly, but it is something that comes up while I'm using koha that I find kind of annoying. So I'm going to show you how to change it. Sometimes when you're checking something in or out, or putting a hold on something, or trying to cancel a hold, you'll get this. For help, please send mail to the webmaster. No address given. That's not very helpful. So I'm going to show you how to add an address. I'm going to log into the Cheerful Valley Public Library. Command line. I'm going to log in as librarian. And now I'm going to edit the library Apache configuration file. I'm not a super user this time, so I have to use sudo to turn me into one. And the file name is /etc/apache2/sites-available/library.conf. The configuration file. Put in the password for the librarian again. And now I am going to scroll down to the section that controls the OPAC. And up a couple. Okay. And the line you need to add is capital S server, capital A admin, all one word, and then an email address. It doesn't have to be webmaster at something, but that's the convention. In this case, yeah, I'm going to use webmaster at cheerfulvalleypl.online. I'm going to exit, saving the file. And now I'm going to go back to trying to check in something. Well, you still can't check it in, but at least your users will have an address to write to. Okay, it looks like the YouTube stream is about 20 to 30 seconds behind me. I'm not looking up at that monitor anymore. It's too confusing. Okay, here's my second video. You may have noticed that the music and the narration have slightly different volumes. That's something that I need to tweak. And I include my address on all of these, koha@avengingchicken.online, because I'm eager to receive suggestions for improvement. Not just, this is horrible, but somehow something to make it better. So let's try the second one now. In a previous presentation, I referred to Z3950 as a thing you can use to get stuff. In this presentation, I'm going to show you how to use Z3950 as a thing to give away stuff, in particular cataloging records. And I'm using the instructions on the Koha wiki called setting up the Z3950 in SRU server. So let's say your catalog has a bunch of interesting and unique records because you have a local collection, and you would like to share it with the rest of the world. This is how you can do it. First of all, let me log into the Cheerful Valley Public Library and look up an author whose name is Sams. This constitutes my unique collection, which isn't all that, well, it isn't unique at all, but let's pretend it is. And I have 6 books in it. The Cheerful Valley Public Library is a very small library. So let me log into the server, cheerfulvalleypl.online. And I'm going to move the window so you can see it. Log in as librarian. And the password. And now I am going to turn myself into a super user. So I don't have to keep typing in sudo. Right, the command to activate the Z3950 server in Koha is koha Z3950 responder enable in the instance. And that's all you have to do. You can go into the Z3950 directory to modify things. I didn't need to. Then you have to enable it, koha-z3950-responder-start instance, in this case library. And that is all you have to do, and your library is now a Z3950 server. So now what? Well, I'm going to go to MarkEdit, and I'm going to set up the Cheerful Valley Public Library as a source. So put in name, Cheerful Valley Public Library, the host, Cheerful Valley pl.online. The database for Koha is Biblios, and by default it uses port 2100. And I'm going to use Mark 21 because that's what I do. I'm going to save. And now I'm going to select the database, Cheerful Valley Public Library. And I'm going to search for the author by the last name of Sams. Click search and found 6 records. And I'm going to save this. In one of my project directories. I'm going to save it as sams.mrc. And actually, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to put the MRC file on the desktop where it's easy to find. And I'm going to use Mark Breaker. And guess what? Here are 6 Mark records from the Cheerful Valley Public Library collection. Okay, and now we come to the final one. I hope the volume, the music and narration is a little more even this time. I'm certainly going to go back and change the volume for the Z3950 one. Pucker. Okay, try again. So here are a few scripts and what they do. And you really don't have to take notes. Just go to avengingchicken.online, look at the bottom. And they're a lot easier to do if you're a super user. But it can also do terrible things to your system if you put in the wrong command. So please be careful. These scripts are designed for the bash shell, which is what you usually get when you install Ubuntu. Type echo $0 in the command line. If the system responds with bash, you're all set. Okay, let's start out with add key, which will add a key in your system so you don't get a lot of warning messages. Add stable, add old stable, and add old stable. We'll add the repository for the most current stable release, second most current, or third most current. And if you're getting advice from me, you want to stay away from the unstable version. That one's for developers. Find password is a shortcut for what I was trying to do at the beginning. It's where it's showing the password that you use when you start configuring Koha. Homepage replaces the file that shows the Apache default web page with your library's web page. But scripts are not just for installing Koha. There are a lot of things you need to run from the command line, and here are a couple of them. Restart Apache, well, restart the Apache web server. Reindex runs the koha rebuild zebra command. And if your instance is named something other than library, you're far more creative than I am, and you need to replace library with the name of your instance in the script file. So if you want to download these scripts from the Avenging Chicken website, you make yourself a super user. And the system remembers me, so I don't have to type in the password. Then type in wget-i http:// http://avengingchicken.online, and that is HTTP, not HTTPS. I'll take care of that someday. koha/scripts.txt. You see it downloaded a lot of things. Let's take a look. Okay, there are all the scripts, and as you can see over on the left side, they don't have a lot of permissions. chmod 777 asterisk gives the files read, write, and execute permission for everyone on the system. Now you can see RWX, RWX, RWX. And that's all there is to it. Can you make one yourself? Let's say you don't like one of my commands, or you want to add something else. Of course you can. Make yourself a super user, open a text editor. I like using Nano because it's fairly easy. First line, you need to put pound bang / bin / bash and type the command you want to run. Save your file, and then chmod 777 and the file name. In this case, I'm building a script to restart the Z3950 server. But there's one thing you need to remember. If you write your script in Windows and upload it to your server, it's not going to work because Windows and Linux use different characters, the ends of lines, and they're not compatible. So here's an example of what you get. Well, that's all I have to say about scripts for now. So goodbye until next time.
That's good, Fred. We've got about 5 minutes left for questions. If you want to see if anybody there has any questions.
Well, some composer asked if it was based on a play by Beckett. No.
The first part of that third video is pretty awesome.
Yes, I'm not sure if koha-US wants to be associated in that way. My employer does not want to be because my production values aren't as slick as theirs, which is fine.
I'm not seeing a lot of questions actually in the YouTube chat.
I think everyone's fallen asleep.
I know I did.
Yeah, I figured.
I know it was good. So I'll ask a question. What software did you say you were using to create these videos?
Let's see, one OpenShot.
Okay.
Video, and let's see, I think it's called Wondershare to do the screen recordings, and sometimes I incorporate the sound and video together. I was using Audacity, but then I'd have to link up the Audacity file with the video. So with Wondershare, you can just play a video and then record as you go along.
Okay.
OpenShot can separate the video and audio tracks, which can be very helpful. What else do I use? Just those three. OpenShot and Wonder and Audacity.
Well, as far as training videos go, other than your issue with the sound, I think these were pretty awesome.
Thank you.
We are running out of time, and I know Ed wants to say something to the people that are in the room there about the group picture.
Okay. Well, thank you, and I wish I were there. Take care.
I wish I was there too.